I acknowledge that former Secretary of State Brian Kemp will be certified as the victor in the 2018 gubernatorial election.
In a fiery speech delivered within the last hour, Stacey Abrams says she is ending her run against Brian Kemp, who is expected to be certified as the next governor of the state of Georgia. Speaking publicly for the first time since 1:40 a.m. on election night, Abrams says her campaign will not present any legal challenges after the final votes are certified.
At the latest count, Brian Kemp leads Abrams by more than 50,000 votes. 11 Live's Doug Richards was there when Abrams made her remarks. He's live at her Atlanta headquarters. Doug?
Yeah, you know, the election was 10 days ago, but the Abrams campaign really didn't end until just a few minutes ago when Stacey Abrams gave a speech and explained that she was not conceding the election to Brian Kemp per se, but she did say that she had no more legal options to challenge Brian Kemp's election. She talked at length about what she described as the incompetent management of the election of then Secretary of State, now apparently Governor-elect Brian Kemp, and she had this is the closest she came to words of conciliation.
I will pray for the success of Brian Kemp, that he will indeed be a leader for all Georgians, that he will pledge to fight for the rights of those who disagree with him, and that he will keep his promises, that he will refuse the call of those who see how close this election really was, because we know that some are going to propose to make voting even harder.
And Abrams says that in order to counter that, she plans to launch an organization which she will call Fair Fight Georgia, which she hopes will pursue voting laws that were consistent with the last 10 days of her challenges of this past election. She also says that she will work for the election of John Barrow, the Democrat running against Brad Raffensperger for Secretary of State in a runoff in December. Live in Oakhurst, Doug Richards, 11 Alive News.
Doug, is it too early to begin speculating about her future? I think a lot of people are going to be talking about that in the days ahead. Will she run for the Senate? What will she do with the equity that she has built with so many voters in the state of Georgia?
Well, she's become as high profile a Democrat as there is in Georgia, you know, this side of John Lewis or maybe John Ossoff, you know. I mean, and those are really two options, I suppose. She could fade into obscurity like a lot of Democrats seem to do here in Georgia. However, this does not seem like that time, and she does not seem like that kind of candidate.
All right, Doug Richards, thank you. We appreciate it.
And within the last half hour, Brian Kemp released a response saying, quote, "The election is over and hardworking Georgians are ready to move forward. We can no longer dwell in the divisive politics of the past, but must focus on Georgia's bright and promising future. I humbly ask for citizens of our great state to stand with me in the days ahead. We will be a state that puts hardworking Georgians, no matter a zip code or political preference, first." You can read the full statement on 11alive.com, and our crew will be there tomorrow morning when Mr. Kemp is expected to hold a press conference.
Georgia's senior